So my anti-Christmas, nah, it just is not the birth date of Jesus Christ, the God, one and only, that I worship. Actually, that was back in September. Oh, we just, fly all the excuses you want. I came up with every excuse to justify my own thoughts and actions. There's none that you can throw at me that I haven't already thought myself and been convicted of. No, hey, we got a little tree and Nancy and Rena decorated it. It's fine. But you gotta know what it is. You gotta know. And you gotta keep that separate. And that's why every Christmas that I've had the opportunity to either have a group to speak to or from behind the pulpit, never gave a Christmas story. Never will either. But I did always focus on the death and resurrection of our Lord Jesus Christ so that I could spit in the face of Satan himself that created this super holiday that we all worship so proudly. FDA approves Ebola vaccines. Ooh, well, that's a good thing, ain't it? Maybe so, maybe no. You realize over 11,000 people have already died from Ebola down in Africa? And they've been getting immunizations. They've been getting the shots. I'm going to say it once and this will be a test, okay? Vaccine, the internet's still on, thank you Lord, is one of those words that got written down that you're not supposed to speak about when you make videos. Ridiculous. This Ebola thing, don't you all remember last year when there was 11 cases, or the year before last, and they had it all confined to that little town? Well, somehow it got up to the road to that other little town. Next thing you know, a couple people died when they landed in the United States and a few other countries. It was not contained. It did get out. And tied in with Ebola, pig Ebola. That's that swine disease again, folks. You see the connection between the swine and the human. Yeah, they're both filthy animals. And they're getting Ebola. Indonesia has had to kill a quarter. And listen close, folks. Indonesia, with what they've had to kill. Remember, we just talked about China having the same disease, having to kill off half of their stock. Last year before that, it was Australia. Big time, remember? Folks, in this last couple years, 1/4 reported, 1/4 of the world swine population, that's your bacon, your piglets, struck them with Ebola, had to be wiped out, killed. Like I said, yeah, China, they're too smart for that. Yeah, they killed it. They didn't want to contaminate in their folks, but when they killed it, they went and packaged it all up and sent it to Walmart. I'm not picking on Walmart. Sorry, YouTube, Facebook, Internet, AI controller, whatever. Yeah, I'm not harassing Walmart. Virginia. This is one that gets my feathers a little ruffled. Well, more than a little. You guys know what's going on in Virginia? You had the House, Senate, however they're set up, I believe so. Basically, Virginia Democrats got control of everything. And no, I'm not a Republican, okay? I'm none of the above. But this is what they did, and this should be a clue and a kickoff to what's just around the corner nationwide, folks. Gun control, gun confiscation. Now, you think a bunch of Virginians are going to let anybody, Republican or Democrat or other, come in there and just take their guns away? Virginians are hard asses, folks. They ain't a bunch of sissies like those Texans are. And we all think they're tough because we're a bunch of panty wastes over here in California. No, they ain't standing for it. They have started forming militias. You know what the government says to that? The governor floppy flu or whatever. Looks like he's I almost said. That's another one. I guess you can't say tranny. Well, I just slipped and said it again. Doggone it. He threatened National Guard on him. Oh yeah, you guys want to, not give up your guns? Go against the almighty orders of the powers that be? We'll get your own military, your own brethren from your own, and go in there and shoot your butts. Well, he didn't really say it that hardcore. See how you can hear what someone's saying and maybe read into what they're really saying? So anyway, Virginia's like, no you ain't. We're forming militia. You want to send National Guard in? We will stand our ground. Sheriff over there said he deputized every citizen. Remember, you've heard this. I hope you have. I don't know. I don't have cable TV and never will again. So check this out. And I want you to really, even if this was a made-up news story or a psyop or anything, think of this. The governor came out and threatened them. Oh yeah, you want to stand for your rights and your beliefs against the government? He says what he will do, or what the government will do, is shut off their phones, cell phones. Shut off their electricity. Yeah, shut off their internet. Can you dig it, Jack? Seriously, what would you do? Even if you're what did Mike say this morning? A snowflake from California. What would you do if the government told you that we're coming in, we're taking something that you have the right to own, and we're taking it away? Well, you know what, folks? They've already taken everything else away. Yeah, see if you really own your land after you pay it off. So, even if it is a big thing, news thing, psyop thing, to see how people would react and how far can the government over there in Virginia push their citizens, or if it's the real deal and it may actually come to regular citizens having to arm themselves against our own military. The National Guard, I know, same thing, man. They got to take orders just like the rest of them. What happens if bullets fly? Think about that. So, you know what, Virginia? I'm sorry to be, a little rigid, but you voted them in. Same as we did in California. You put those satanic pedophilia freaking blah, 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 blah into power, and you expected a bunch of candy and flowers? My goodness, it's time to wake up. All right, here we go. Let's push through. Oh, here's a good one. And Scotty, I wrote it down. You want to check out some serious stuff? If you really want to wake up and see what's going on, read this. Look it up on the internet. Time to get the fingers going. Okay? SB 64. Enough of that. SB is in my little brother's name, Stevie Blankenship. SB, it has nothing to do with them. Gee whiz. 64. So yeah, I watched some videos and read some newspaper clippings here from Oregon to Washington this week, and a lot of flooding. Some places, especially along the coast, big time flooding, man. I'm really sorry. We saw it coming though when we were looking at the satellite images and following that. And I have, and it does look like atmospheric river is steering up, and from Northern California all the way up to Washington, folks, it's going to be wet, to say the least. Yeah, they're aqueous. I got to bring this up again. AQUIESS, Aqueous, Global Rain Project. Look it up and see for yourself, because, instead of wasting the breath to say that's not real or you're dumb or I don't believe it, take a look for yourself, come to your own judgments and conclusions, okay? Quit relying on other people's opinions and input, and quit trusting everybody that has a number or a letter next to their name or some title and thinking that everything that they say is absolute and truth. Because you know what, folks? That's just one of the biggest deceptions that has swept the entire planet. It talks about man steering atmospheric rivers for rain. Okay, remember we talked about David Miles. There's another one. If you don't believe it, just look it up for yourself. David Miles. It's a research project. Anyway, I told you guys about the weather generator project. That's where they're trying to turn the deserts green over in the Middle East. Whether it be Africa, through Egypt, all the way over, the Saudis, and they're doing it. There seems to be, for some reason, an awful lot of rain and hail and snow in the United Arab Emirates for the first time in recorded history, folks. 2014 or maybe 2004. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Folks, I've been watching still. Pray for the folks in Australia. The entire eastern side is just torched, scorched. Government warning, I believe it's Sydney, to evacuate. Read one last night, I think, that said for those that it's too late to evacuate, find hard, safe shelter. Getting pretty torched over there. Here's my funny imagination and everything. Well, if you can steer atmospheric rivers and make it rain, then why in the heck don't you go make it rain and put out all the fires? Well, you know what? That's a good question, Jack. Samsung TVs. We like Samsung TVs, don't we, dear? Samsung TVs?
We had, but it's not working anymore.
Samsung TV. I was checking out some tech stuff and amazing. Samsung's been working on this already, and I guess it is close to completion. So this just might come out next Christmas or the Christmas after. That's when they gotta let all the big stuff out, make all the scratch, right, Jack? Samsung TV, controlled with your mind. Yeah, that's what the article is about. All right, here we go. I don't know. You know what? Here's another one. Write this down if you missed it before, SB 64, but this one here is another one that kind of goes along with the weather report, so to speak. This is a public law since 1997, 10585. All right, look it up. You know what it states in that? Folks, I don't make this stuff up. I couldn't make this stuff up. I have an excellent imagination, but gee whiz, I couldn't make this stuff up. And when you read real law in the United States of America, you want to know what it says? Okay, you'll still look it up though. Read it for yourself. Don't take my word for it, right? Okay. It allows, and here we go. This is probably where I'm going to have to edit part of my splice out or put sounds in when I edit my video and repost. It allows chemtrails, and biological testing on civilians with little or no consent. Yeah, I did just say that, and I did read it with my own good eye in HD 1080, folks. Public Law 10585 allows chemtrails and biological testing on civilians with little or no consent. So that's the news this evening. Man, I gotta laugh. You gotta laugh. I mean, you know what's actually so funny is how, people, we may be dumber than any time in history, but God still gives people a little bit of insight from time to time, maybe opens the scales from their eyes on occasion, but when you see something, and folks, I used to be one of the people that used to laugh at a friend of mine, 15 years ago. And then I started noticing for myself, he said, dude, just start looking with your own eyes. And the more I looked, the more I thought about it, the more I looked into it. Why do you think I have such a good time looking at all the satellite images and stuff? Because you know what? Sometimes a lot of the most wildest things that we can imagine, when we realize that they're real, it's just almost too much for us to handle. And folks, when you realize sometimes the truth ain't an easy pill to swallow, you need to look at the same thing with the God who created everything, the heavens and the earth.